Hello, we're your hosts Rachel Yates-Hoyles and Libby Baker, volunteer trustees of Beacon Dementia and Wellbeing based here in Rossendale. Join us for our bite-sized episodes as we shine a light on dementia, caregiving and the power of connection in Rossendale. Each episode brings you honest conversations with the people who make Beacon what it is. We'll share real stories and gentle reminders that none of us are walking this journey alone.
Are we ready? Let me know. Welcome, Jane.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for coming here and for spending time with us to tell us about you and your family.
No problem. I wouldn't not.
Oh, thank you, Jane. That means so much to us. Welcome to everybody who's listening and watching on this first ever Beacon Dementia Wellbeing podcast. Exciting. And I'd like to welcome Jane Mutchell, who is a family carer. And we've known each other for ages, haven't we, Jane? It seems forever, doesn't it?
It's a long time.
It is.
Certainly in terms of my dementia journey, it's from the beginning.
Yeah, which is?
About 2017.
So
18 maybe.
9 years?
It's been a few years.
Yeah, it is. But before we get into that, most important question, favourite cake?
Probably strawberry tart. However, I might choose crisps.
Sweet and savoury again.
I know. Any apart from prawn cocktail.
Everyone's torn, aren't they, between sweet and savoury?
It's tricky.
Depends what mood you're in,
It really does, yeah. But yeah, if it was a cake, probably a strawberry tart.
Good choice.
We all
with
like
cream
cake,
on the
don't
top.
we?
You get a nice combination, don't you? And it feels a bit healthy because there's a few strawberries thrown in.
One of your 5 a day. Yeah.
A custard's got milk in it and that's good for you, isn't it? You know, yeah, that's good. Oh, that's good. Well, cake's been a theme throughout Beacon, and I know me and you, we love cake. We talk about cake, not just cake, but food in general.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
We do like food.
We like to eat it, don't we? And
absolutely.
try new places.
Yes, we do. So tell us a little bit more about you, Jane, and your family.
Okay. I'm a teacher, so I work full time. I have an 18-year-old daughter and I'm married to a police officer. They're both autistic, and my mum has dementia. She has Alzheimer's. She got a diagnosis in 2021, although I was involved with Beacon before then because there were, lots of reasons why we felt we needed support and more understanding of dementia. And my dad has a range of other health conditions. So both mum and dad live in a care home. They live in this, I call them wings. They live on separate wings in the same care home, but they're able to spend as much time together as they want to.
They love it there, don't they?
Yeah, they do. It's they're safe, they're cared for, and there's lots of people to talk to. That they only have to think: do I want this meal or the next meal, or do I want to do this activity, or do I not fancy it today? So yeah, they're really well looked after.
Yeah, it's been a long journey though, that hasn't it, Jane?
It's been horrific.
I know. Emotional, tearful, lots of uncertainty and change and loss along this difficult journey. What's life like today?
Today it's more settled. Today I know that they're safe. That's a big difference. I know the staff in the care home because I visit regularly. I know the other residents. I know the staff, the other visitors, parents, family members. So the care home, it becomes, you gain an unexpected family that I didn't know that was going to be a thing. So that's lovely, if we're looking at the positives and finding, the joy where we can. Mum and dad are safe and they're cared for, and, they're still, like dad's literally just phoned me while I was waiting to come here and speak to you, giving me an update on his day and seeing how my day's been. So yeah, but there are still lots of times where, for mum, I do all her shopping for clothes, or if she needs anything, try and make sure that she's having a good quality of life and that her dignity is maintained, because that's one of the things that she'd said to me in the very early days where we noticed that she was having some difficulties with her memory. She was concerned that she'd lose that dignity and her appearance would become dishevelled, and she didn't want that. So it's been really important to me, not for me, but for my mum, to make sure that, you know, she dresses in ways that she has always dressed, and I buy colours that she used to wear. And obviously she still has a say in what she chooses and what she wears, but just that's become sort of my responsibility. You know, if there's any decisions that need to be made, it's me that makes those decisions in terms of my mum. So it's a big responsibility. I manage their money and make sure that, you know, mum has any money for trips and outings and anything like that that she needs. So the pressures don't go away, they just kind of change. So, you know, there's been times where, you know, obviously as dementia develops and advances, mum hasn't wanted to have a bath or a shower or change of clothes or go to bed. And again, although the staff in the care home and they're brilliant and they're very caring, mum's scared. She doesn't understand, you know, she doesn't know who these people are and why they're trying to make her have a bath or do these things that she's frightened of. So, you know, more recently I have bathed my mum and you know, put her to bed because she would not put her to bed, but encouraged her to go to bed, and then tucked her in, like, you know, like I've done with my daughter when she was tiny, giving her a teddy bear, giving her a kiss good night, just to try and help her feel settled. So yeah, the responsibility doesn't go away. It's really tricky to know that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. A lot of responsibility, a lot of pressure that you didn't anticipate
No,
would come into your
really
life.
didn't. No.
How do you get through them days and what just the moments, Jane, of them difficulties? What helps you through?
Well, in the moment, I just try and think of what's best for my mum and what she might want or what she might need, and try and think of it from her perspective. So try and understand if she's not wanting to have a bath or go to bed, then what's the reason for that? So then try and address that reason and try and work out what that issue is. So with the bath, when I'd given her a bath and she was really worried about the door being opened and somebody coming in. So I realised it's because she was frightened, she felt vulnerable, which is perfectly understandable. Why would you want to become naked in front of people you've no idea who they are? So then I had a conversation with yourself actually, and you told me about some gowns that had been made for exactly that reason. So I ordered one for my mum, so she could have a bath or a shower with dignity and not feel vulnerable in the way that she had been feeling. So trying to find a practical solution, I guess, is how I manage that. I run, and I spend as much time with my mum and dad as I can, to be honest, and I don't do a great deal else. I work, I run, and I spend time with my mum and dad and see my daughter and husband as much as I can. But I'm just mindful that, you know, tomorrow's not promised. So just to make the most of each day and try and find the joy where you can. So, you know, an example, I work, I have to travel on the M60. I travel on several motorways to get to work. So like just an example this morning, I was driving along the M60 and really cloudy day, a bit miserable. And then there was just a glint of blue sky, and it was like, there it is. There's the joy, there's blue sky, there's hope. You know, it's looking at the crocus. It really is.
Nature helps.
Yeah, the crocus coming through, the snowdrops coming through, the daffodils coming through. It's just noticing, and not in a kind of, it does mean something. It does bring some joy. It doesn't change what's happening. It doesn't change the situation. But noticing those small things, noticing when somebody's kind, noticing when somebody says something that's thoughtful or considerate, makes a big difference, because the world feels more positive then, rather than just focusing on the big, scary, negative things.
Do you know what I notice about you, Jane? It's a real quality in yourself, is curiosity. You've said before, you know, I'm always thinking about what my mum might be thinking. And that's a really good place to be, isn't it? But it's also about thinking about what I need. What do I need? And sometimes you've got to think about that, haven't you?
You do, yeah. And it's the guilt sometimes, because having that space to think, what do I need? But it can be easy to feel overcome with guilt, because if I don't do that, then who's going to? If I don't do that, it's not going to happen. Tomorrow might not happen. So it's learning really to just kind of find a balance with what's achievable, what's manageable, what's doable, and sometimes being flexible and changing things around.
For somebody else that's coming into this zone of having to care for somebody, a loved one with dementia, what advice would you give them?
Dig deep.
Oh.
I think everybody will have their own journey, but it's talk to people, find out what's available, recognise that it's likely that you might feel guilty about a whole load of different things, but other people have experienced what you are experiencing. You're not on your own. You know, I've had conversations with people that I know, and they've said to me it's really helpful that they have those conversations with me, just like it's really helpful with me that I have those conversations with people, particularly in the early days in terms of finding out what does this mean, where do I go, what do I do, what's it going to look like, and then now, as my mum's sort of in the more advanced stages, just sort of making the most of the time, and I'm mindful that, you know, I'm not with my mum 24/7. Some carers, you know, partners will be spending all of that time together, and I think there are probably very different challenges in that. And it's being kind to yourself where you can, and not thinking this is how it has to be, this is what I have to do. It's taking support and help where you can, because that's a really difficult step. Well, I can't speak for other people, but I think it can be a very difficult step.
I think it can be incredibly lonely as a carer as well. A lonely place to be, because you've got your own thoughts and your own worries, and you don't really have anybody to share them with, do you?
No.
Apart from if you've got a husband or...
It's a really lonely place to be, and there's so much loss. You know, I do try and focus on the positives, but I do see the negatives, and sometimes I feel them very deeply. And sometimes it feels that if you do dig deep, you won't return, because it's awful. There's no bottom line. It's horrific. But sharing experiences, sharing situations, laughing. You know, me and my mum have such a laugh, you know, and, you know, the more advanced her dementia's got, she's so funny. She's such a hoot, you know, and when she starts laughing, you know, she doesn't stop, and it's lovely, and we make the most of it.
Yeah. They're precious memories, aren't they?
They are, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it is a lonely path, because I feel that there's so much loss, and it just carries on. It just keeps giving. You know, there's a loss in so many different ways, and it just keeps changing and keeps. But on the other hand, my mum's there, so I'm grateful that she's there. So again, it's those conflicted emotions.
What helps you through the difficult days?
Work is helpful, because that's something different. Running, the physical movement of running, and the space to think, or not necessarily think, but process, just a process. Talking to Rachel from Beacon, doing things that I feel, what I've found, I didn't know this was going to be a thing, but I've realised that when I'm finding something difficult, I'll try and find a practical solution. So I don't even do it intentionally, but if I have an idea, like there was a situation where I was in a local pub, and the landlady was relatively new to the area and wanted to build links with the community. And then I was like, oh, what do you know about dementia? And then the next thing, we've arranged a social where people living with dementia can go, and that's now grown. I've stepped away because I can't do everything, but that's growing and continues to grow. And then, I'd taken my mum shopping and just popped into BU in Haslingden, which is a boutique, just randomly popped in because it was on the journey. And they worked out within minutes what was going on. You know, my mum wasn't looking her best that day. And they treated her like an absolute princess. And again, one conversation, an email and visit to the store led to another thing. And then we've had two now that Rachel's been involved with as well, where the store has literally moved into the care home where my parents live.
Fabulous, isn't it? Oh, great
Amazing.
event.
And
Absolutely amazing.
It's amazing because it's supporting people living with dementia and their carers and providing opportunities for new memories and positive experiences, but also somehow it gives me an outlet because I can't change what's happening with my mum. I can't make that better, but I can do things that make situations better. So I think that's a coping mechanism for me that I didn't know was one that I had.
Thank you for sharing all this with us, Jane, and with everybody who's watching and listening out there. You're a great advocate for both your mum and your dad, and I'm proud to be your friend, Jane.
Thank you, Rachel.
If you'd like to stay connected and hear more about Beacon Dementia and Wellbeing and what we do, then please visit our website on www.beaconrosendale.org.uk, or if you're on social media, please find us under Beacon Rosendale for Facebook and Instagram.